a great pleasure now to introduce Andrea Branzi, 7 suggestions for the new Athens Charter. The architect and designer, Professor Andrea Branzi, graduated in 1966 in Florence. He lived and worked in Milan since 1973. From 64 to 74, he was a member of the legendary group Archizum Associati, and as such at the forefront of the radical architecture movement. I've interviewed Andrea Branzi many times with Stefano Boeri as part of a long research we've been doing on what we call the Italian miracle, this extraordinary generation of architects, urbanists who emerged in Italy in the 60s. Andrea Branzi's projects are archived at the Centre Georges Pompidou in Paris. He received in '87 the Compasso d'Oro Award for his career. Today, he's professor as well as president of the graduation course of interior design at the Facoltà di Interni and Design of the Politecnico in Milan. A very warm welcome to Andrea Branzi and his manifesto, 7 suggestions for the new Athens Charter.
When we talk about a new Athens Charter, we mean to describe a cityscape in the age of a third industrial revolution, of globalization and of diffuse work. A city that considers as a value the liberalization of the urban system instead of its formal and functional rationalization. A city where the social relations go through internet and not only through physical meetings along streets and squares. A city less anthropocentric and more friendly with the biodiversities. A city where reuse takes the place of new building. The aim of the new Athens Charter is not the city of the future, but rather the city of the present, with all its faults and contradictions. Not an ideal city based on a rigid and definitive model, but a city that has always to be reformed, reshaped and replanned, in search of temporary balances that need an ongoing setting.
Una città per una società riformista. Una città per una società riformista.
A city for a reformist society.
Vai.
First suggestion, reuse of the existent.
Falla andare avanti.
Instead of new buildings, foster the reuse of existing estates to fit the present city to the new need of the diffuse work, of mass enterprise, of creative economy, of cultural production and consumption. Second suggestion, ecology of the artificial world. To make comfortable the interior spaces, both for housing and any other activity, it's important that there are objects and facilities corresponding to technological and functional opposing logics, avoiding monologic settings and creating a highly complex environment, hard materials and fragile materials, mass products and single objects, high-tech and traditional technologies, long-lasting products and disposable ones, colored objects and raw ones. Third suggestion, reversibility. Avoid rigid and definitive solutions, and foster reversible facilities that can be dismantled and transformed, allowing to fit in the time the interior space for new activities, unforeseen and not programmed. Use technologies and materials that can foster new ways of use, not defined in their turn. Fourth suggestion, functional non-definition. Avoid the identification between form and function, specialized typologies, rigid facilities, but create interior spaces similar to functionoids that can follow the flow of needs and destinations. In the age of electronics and computers, the spaces can change their function in real time, just changing a software. Fifth suggestion, cohabitation with biodiversities. Realize, as in the Indian metropolis, the conditions for a cohabitation between man and the animal kingdom, the technologies and the sacred, alive and dead people. Metropolis, less anthropocentric and more open to biodiversities, according to a concept of hospitality going beyond the concept of specialization and separation typical of the European culture.
200.000 vacche sacre su Londra.
200,000 sacred cows in London.
30.000 scimmie su Parigi.
30,000 monkeys in Paris.
10.000 elefanti su Berlino.
10,000 elephants in Berlin. Sixth suggestion, half agricultural and half urban territories. Create threshold areas between city and countryside with hybrid territories made of productive agricultural systems aside scattered light and temporary architectural elements. A system in progress following season and weather, allowing conditions of flexible and discontinuous housing. Seventh suggestion, shaded borders between exterior and interior. Realize architectural facilities with a crossable and shaded perimeter to make a more continuous urban net, where the differences between indoor and outdoor, public and private spaces tends to vanish, creating an integrated system of the urban environment. The logics of use typical of the interiors invade the urban space, while the ones of the public spaces enter in the private ones, creating a porous system rich of amniotic exchanges.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.